Breaking barriers and building dreams is not just about success, it is about rewriting your own story. Every single person carries dreams inside their heart, but too often walls of doubt, fear, and circumstances rise up like obstacles in the way. Those barriers may seem unshakable at first, yet history is filled with people who chose not to bow down to them. Instead of letting the walls define them, they broke through them brick by brick until their dreams became reality. And you have that same power inside you. The truth is, every dream comes with its own set of challenges. If it were easy, everyone would be living their dream life already. But the reason you feel that burning desire inside is because the dream is meant for you, and the challenges that stand in the way are designed to prepare you for it. Barriers are not there to stop you, they are there to test you, to see how much you truly want it. They are meant to shape you into the kind of person who is strong enough to hold the dream once it arrives. Think about it. The people who inspire the world the most are not the ones who had a straight, easy path. They are the ones who were laughed at, doubted, rejected, and told they would never make it. Yet they decided that no barrier was strong enough to cage their vision. They failed and tried again. They stumbled but refused to quit. Each time life knocked them down, they rose stronger, sharper, more determined. That persistence carved their dreams into reality. Your dream will require sacrifice. You will have to work harder than others. You will have to wake up earlier, stay up later, and push past the moments when everything inside you wants to quit. But remember this, every barrier you break adds strength to your story. Every moment you choose to keep going builds a foundation for the dream you're chasing. The very thing that feels like it's blocking your path today may later become the reason you inspire someone else to keep fighting for theirs. Do not fear failure. Fear settling for a life where your dreams remain locked inside you. Failure is not the end. It is the stepping stone that takes you closer to what you want. Each setback has a lesson. Each obstacle has a purpose. If you see barriers as signs to stop, your dream dies. But if you see barriers as signs to grow, your dream begins to breathe. Building dreams is not about waiting for the perfect opportunity. It is about creating it. It is about showing up even when no one claps, about believing in yourself even when the world doubts you. It is about taking small, consistent steps every single day that move you closer to what you see in your mind. One day, those steps add up to a journey, and that journey turns into your story of triumph. The greatest barrier is often not the world outside, but the voice inside that whispers you are not enough. Silence that voice with action. Prove to yourself that you are capable by showing up and doing the work. Confidence is not built in your mind first, it is built in your actions. The more you act, the stronger you become, and the weaker that voice grows. So break your barriers with courage and build your dreams with persistence. No wall is too high, no challenge too great, and no dream too impossible for the heart that refuses to give up. You are stronger than you think, braver than you feel, and closer to your dream than you realize. The world is waiting for the version of you that has broken through every chain and dared to live fully. Your dreams are not just for you, they are the light that will inspire others to chase theirs. So stand tall, take the hammer of determination in your hands, and start breaking. On the other side of those barriers lies the life you were born to live. Breaking barriers and building dreams is not just about success. It is about rewriting your own story. Every single person carries dreams inside their heart, but too often walls of doubt, fear, and circumstances rise up like obstacles in the way. Those barriers may seem unshakable at first, yet history is filled with people who chose not to bow down to them. Instead of letting the walls define them, they broke through them, brick by brick, until their dreams became reality. And you have that same power inside you. The truth is, every dream comes with its own set of challenges. If it were easy, everyone would be living their dream life already. But the reason you feel that burning desire inside is because the dream is meant for you, and the challenges that stand in the way are designed to prepare you for it. Barriers are not there to stop you, they are there to test you, to see how much you truly want it. They are meant to shape you into the kind of person who is strong enough to hold the dream once it arrives. Think about it. The people who inspire the world the most are not the ones who had a straight, easy path. They are the ones who were laughed at, doubted, rejected, and told they would never make it. Yet they decided that no barrier was strong enough to cage their vision. They failed and tried again. They stumbled but refused to quit. Each time life knocked them down, they rose stronger, sharper, more determined. That persistence carved their dreams into reality. Your dream will require sacrifice. You will have to work harder than others. You will have to wake up earlier, stay up later, and push past the moments when everything inside you wants to quit. But remember this, every barrier you break adds strength to your story. Every moment you choose to keep going builds a foundation for the dream you're chasing. The very thing that feels like it's blocking your path today may later become the reason you inspire someone else to keep fighting for theirs. Do not fear failure. Fear settling for a life where your dreams remain locked inside you. Failure is not the end. It is the stepping stone that takes you closer to what you want. Each setback has a lesson. Each obstacle has a purpose. If you see barriers as signs to stop, your dream dies. But if you see barriers as signs to grow, your dream begins to breathe. Building dreams is not about waiting for the perfect opportunity. It is about creating it. It is about showing up even when no one claps, about believing in yourself even when the world doubts you. It is about taking small, consistent steps every single day that move you closer to what you see in your mind. One day, those steps add up to a journey, and that journey turns into your story of triumph. The greatest barrier is often not the world outside, but the voice inside that whispers you are not enough. Silence that voice with action. Prove to yourself that you are capable by showing up and doing the work. Confidence is not built in your mind first, it is built in your actions. The more you act, the stronger you become, and the weaker that voice grows. So break your barriers with courage and build your dreams with persistence. No wall is too high, no challenge too great, and no dream too impossible for the heart that refuses to give up. You are stronger than you think, braver than you feel, and closer to your dream than you realize. The world is waiting for the version of you that has broken through every chain and dared to live fully. Your dreams are not just for you. They are the light that will inspire others to chase theirs. So stand tall, take the hammer of determination in your hands, and start breaking. On the other side of those barriers lies the life you were born to live. Barriers are not meant to stop you. They are meant to shape you into the person strong enough to achieve your dream. Too often, when people face obstacles, they assume it is a sign to give up, a sign that maybe their dream was never meant for them in the first place. But that is far from the truth. Barriers are not walls designed to hold you back forever. They are tests, challenges, and opportunities that build your strength, sharpen your character, and prepare you for the very thing you are chasing. If dreams were handed out easily, they would not be valuable, and they would not transform lives. The struggle you endure along the way is not punishment, it is preparation. Every dream requires a stronger version of you, and barriers are the forge in which that version is created. Think of any great success story, and you will see barriers everywhere. Athletes face years of training, injury, and defeat before they ever hold a trophy. Entrepreneurs fail again and again before one idea finally takes flight. Leaders are doubted, criticized, and resisted before they earn the respect of those they guide. If these people had seen barriers as dead ends, their stories would never have existed. Instead, they embraced those obstacles as part of their journey, recognizing that every challenge was building the discipline, resilience, and patience they needed to handle their dream when it arrived. A dream without obstacles is like a diamond without pressure. It never develops its true brilliance. When you come across a barrier, it is easy to feel frustrated, to feel like the world is against you. But what if you began to view barriers differently? What if instead of seeing them as setbacks, you saw them as stepping stones? Each barrier is a lesson in disguise, teaching you skills and values that will serve you for a lifetime. patience, problem solving, endurance, faith. These are not learned in comfort zones. They are learned in the trenches of struggle. Every barrier you face is like a personal coach, shaping you, refining you, and pushing you closer to the dream you desire. Sometimes the barrier is external, lack of resources, lack of support, or unfair circumstances. Other times, the barrier is internal, the doubts, the fears, the voice in your head that whispers you are not enough. The external barriers build your creativity and persistence, forcing you to find ways around challenges, to work smarter, to dig deeper. The internal barriers build your confidence and mental strength, teaching you to silence fear with faith and doubt with action. Without these tests, you would never discover just how capable you truly are. It is important to realize that dreams require responsibility. You cannot just stumble into a life-changing achievement without first being shaped into someone who can handle it. Barriers serve as checkpoints on the road to success. Each time you overcome one, you prove to yourself and the world that you are ready for the next level. Without those barriers, you might reach your dream too soon, unprepared to hold it, and it could slip through your hands. The struggle is what ensures that when the dream finally arrives, you can sustain it, protect it, and grow it. Think of a seed planted in the soil. Before it can rise into the light, it must push through dirt, darkness, and pressure. The soil is the barrier, but it is also the protection, the environment that strengthens the seedling enough to survive in the open air. In the same way, your barriers are not only resisting you, they are shaping you. They are preparing you to handle the weight of your dreams, so that when you rise, you do not crumble. Breaking through barriers also changes how you see yourself. Each time you conquer a challenge, you expand your belief in what you are capable of. You start to see that the limits you once believed were permanent were only illusions. Every barrier you break adds another layer of confidence, courage, and resilience to your character. That growth becomes a part of you forever. It is not just about achieving a dream. It is about becoming the person who refuses to be stopped, the person who knows how to face challenges and rise anyway. That identity is worth more than any trophy, any title, or any recognition, because it means you can face any new dream, any new challenge with the same unstoppable mindset. Many people give up too early because they misinterpret barriers. They think obstacles mean the dream is impossible, but in reality, obstacles mean the dream is valuable. The greater the dream, the greater the resistance. It is almost like life is asking, how badly do you want this? Are you willing to fight for it, or will you settle for less? Every barrier you face is life's way of separating those who merely wish from those who are truly committed. If you persist, you prove that you belong to the second group, the builders, the dreamers, the achievers. So the next time you come face to face with a barrier, do not see it as the end. See it as the training ground that is molding you into someone unstoppable. Understand that you are not being blocked, you are being built. Your dream is still possible, and every obstacle you face is evidence that you are moving in the right direction. The weight you feel now will become the strength you rely on tomorrow. The resistance you face today will become the testimony you share when you succeed. Barriers do not exist to break you. They exist to make you unbreakable. They are not there to stop you. They are there to shape you. And once you embrace this truth, you will begin to see every challenge not as an enemy, but as an ally pushing you closer to your destiny. The dream you hold in your heart is waiting for you, and the barriers in your way are only preparing you to step into it fully, powerfully, and permanently. The people who inspire the world most are those who turn rejection, doubt, and failure into fuel for their success. When you look at the lives of the most impactful individuals, you do not see a straight road paved with constant victories. You see winding paths marked with setbacks, ridicule, and moments of despair. Yet instead of letting those low points destroy them, they chose to let them become the very force that pushed them forward. They refused to let the voices of doubt or the sting of rejection define their worth. They made a decision that failure would not be their final chapter, but rather the introduction to their greatest comeback. Rejection has the power to crush people, but it also has the power to build them. When someone tells you no, it can feel like your dream has been dismissed. But the truth is, rejection is not an ending, it is redirection. Every rejection carries a lesson. It teaches you to improve, to sharpen your skills, to approach your vision from a new angle. Those who inspire the most did not let rejection make them bitter. They let it make them better. Think of writers who had their manuscripts turned down dozens of times before finally finding a publisher, or inventors who faced countless skeptics before their ideas changed the world. The rejection they faced was not a signal to quit, but an invitation to grow stronger. Doubt is another force that tries to paralyze dreamers. Sometimes the doubt comes from others, family, friends, peers, or society telling you that your vision is unrealistic, too big, or impossible. Other times the doubt comes from within, the small voice whispering that maybe you are not good enough. The people who inspire us most did not escape doubt. They felt it deeply. But they made a choice to keep moving forward anyway. They understood that doubt only has power if you give it power. By taking action in the face of doubt, they proved not only to others, but to themselves that belief is built by persistence. Doubt can either suffocate you or fuel you. The difference lies in whether you allow it to stop you or drive you to prove it wrong. Failure is the most misunderstood word in the pursuit of success. Many people see failure as the opposite of success, when in truth, it is the pathway to success. Every failure teaches, every setback instructs, and every mistake reveals something essential about the journey. The people who inspire the most are those who fell, sometimes harder than anyone else, but chose to rise again and again. They viewed failure not as the final verdict, but as feedback, a lesson on how to improve, how to innovate, how to try again more wisely. Thomas Edison, when inventing the light bulb, famously said he didn't fail 1,000 times. He simply found 1,000 ways that didn't work. That mindset is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. What makes these people so inspiring is not just their eventual triumph, but their resilience in the process. They didn't wait for the world's approval before they kept going. They didn't wait for guarantees before taking risks. Instead, they allowed the pain of rejection to strengthen their resolve. They turned the sting of doubt into the spark of determination. They transformed failure into the foundation on which success could be built. That resilience made their victories far more powerful because they were not victories handed to them. They were victories earned through perseverance. There is also a deeper reason why people who overcome rejection, doubt, and failure inspire others so profoundly their stories are relatable. Everyone has faced rejection in some form, everyone has felt doubt, and everyone has failed at something. When someone rises from those struggles and achieves greatness, they show the rest of us that it is possible. They give us permission to believe in our own resilience, to see our setbacks not as proof of weakness, but as evidence of potential. Their lives remind us that success is not reserved for the perfect, but for the persistent. Consider how much more powerful a story becomes when it includes struggle. A hero who never fails does not inspire, but a hero who falls, who is doubted, who is rejected, and still finds a way to win. That is the story that moves hearts and ignites belief. The obstacles are what give weight to the victory. Without them, success would be hollow, meaningless. With them, success becomes a testimony that shines far beyond one individual's life. Every rejection, every doubt, every failure has the power to fuel you as well. It can light a fire within you to prove to yourself and to the world that you are capable of more than anyone imagined. When someone rejects you, instead of letting it crush you, let it remind you that your dream is too big to fit into someone else's limited vision. When doubt creeps in, use it as a signal that you are attempting something bold, something worth fighting for. When failure strikes, treat it as a lesson written in bold letters, guiding you to refine your approach. This mindset turns setbacks into stepping stones and losses into lessons. The truth is, no one escapes rejection, doubt, or failure in life. The difference lies in how we respond. Those who are remembered, admired, and celebrated are the ones who refused to surrender. They refused to let the opinions of others dictate their destiny. They refused to let temporary setbacks decide their final outcome. They chose to see every no as an opportunity, every criticism as fuel, every fall as a reason to rise higher. That is what made them unstoppable. And so, if you truly want to live a life that inspires, you must embrace rejection, doubt, and failure as allies instead of enemies. Let them sharpen your hunger, deepen your strength, and clarify your vision. Remember that the people who inspire the most are not those who lived without struggle, but those who turn struggle into strength. Your dream may take time, and you will likely face countless barriers along the way. But if you allow every rejection, every doubt, and every failure to fuel you rather than stop you, you will not only achieve your dream, you will inspire countless others to chase theirs too. Every dream demands sacrifice, discipline, persistence, and the willingness to keep going when it's hardest. Nothing of true value is ever achieved without giving something up in return. Every person who has reached greatness has had to sacrifice comfort, ease, and sometimes even relationships or opportunities that did not align with their vision. Dreams are expensive, not in money alone, but in time, energy, focus, and effort. They demand that you rise earlier, work longer, push harder, and remain committed even when others walk away. That is why so few people actually reach the life they imagine, because they want the reward without the sacrifice, the glory without the grind. Discipline is the foundation of sacrifice. Without discipline, dreams remain as ideas floating in the mind, never taking shape in reality. Discipline is what forces you to show up when motivation fades, to continue the work when no one is watching, to stay focused when distractions are everywhere. It is easy to dream, but it is not easy to wake up early day after day, to train your mind and body, to practice your craft until you master it. That is what discipline demands, and those who embrace it eventually see their dreams manifest. Discipline is often uncomfortable, but it is the discomfort that produces growth. Just as muscles grow through resistance, your potential expands when you choose discipline over excuses. Persistence is the next piece of sacrifice. It is the refusal to quit even when everything around you screams that you should. Dreams rarely arrive on your first attempt. More often, they require you to fail, adjust, and try again, sometimes dozens of times. Persistence is what keeps you moving forward through the long nights of struggle, through the years of being overlooked, through the moments of doubt when progress feels invisible. It is persistence that turns ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers. The ones who persist are the ones who eventually break through, because persistence wears down obstacles. Persistence finds solutions. Persistence creates momentum that cannot be stopped. But perhaps the greatest sacrifice of all is the willingness to keep going when it's hardest. Anyone can work hard when conditions are ideal, when energy is high, when applause is loud, and when results come quickly. But the true test of your commitment is how you respond in silence, when the world is not clapping, when your energy is drained, when doors keep closing, and when progress feels painfully slow. Those are the moments that separate dreamers from doers. Dreams test you by placing the heaviest challenges right before the breakthrough. If you quit when it's hardest, you may never realize how close you were to success. But if you push forward, if you choose to keep moving even with tears in your eyes and exhaustion in your bones, you prove that your dream is worth everything you have. Sacrifice also means giving up things that may feel good in the short term, but take away from the long term. It may mean spending less time on entertainment and more time on your craft. It may mean saying no to friends who don't share your vision. It may mean working a job you don't love temporarily, just to fuel the dream you do love. It may mean risking rejection or criticism in order to chase what others consider unrealistic. These sacrifices hurt in the moment, but they build a future that is far more rewarding than any fleeting comfort. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts a lifetime. What makes sacrifice powerful is that it not only shapes your results, but it shapes you. Every time you sacrifice comfort for discipline, you become stronger. Every time you persist despite hardship, you become more resilient. Every time you keep going when it's hardest, you transform into the kind of person who cannot be broken. Dreams demand sacrifice because they are not only about the destination, they are about the transformation. They are about who you become along the way. The sacrifices refine you, strengthen you, and mold you into the person capable of holding the dream without losing it. It is also important to understand that sacrifice is not loss. It is an investment. You are not simply giving things up. You are trading something small for something greater. You are trading hours of distraction for a lifetime of impact. You are trading temporary comfort for permanent fulfillment. You are trading short-term ease for long-term greatness. When you see sacrifice through this lens, it becomes easier to embrace. You stop asking, "What am I losing?" and start asking, "What am I building?" That shift in perspective turns sacrifice into something empowering rather than draining. Every great story of achievement is built on sacrifice. The athlete who sacrificed weekends to train, the artist who sacrificed sleep to practice, the entrepreneur who sacrificed stability to chase a vision. These stories remind us that sacrifice is the price of greatness. None of them would have succeeded if they had chosen comfort over commitment. They made the hard choices, and those choices carved their legacy. So when your dream demands sacrifice, do not run from it. Do not resist the discipline, avoid persistence, or quit when it gets hard. See the sacrifice as proof that your dream is real, that it is worth pursuing, that it is shaping you into someone greater. Understand that the sacrifice you endure today is the foundation of the life you will live tomorrow. Your dream is waiting, but it requires a version of you who is disciplined enough to keep going, persistent enough to endure failure, and courageous enough to push forward when it's hardest. That is the price, and that is the path. Sacrifice is not the enemy of your dream. It is the bridge that carries you to it. Failure is not the end. It is the stepping stone that moves you closer to your vision. Too often, people mistake failure as a final verdict, as proof that they are not capable or not worthy of the dream they carry. But in truth, failure is not a wall, it is a door, a necessary part of the process that leads to growth, wisdom, and eventual success. Every person who has achieved greatness has a history of failures behind them, not because they were weak, but because they were willing to try, to risk, and to learn. Failure is evidence of effort, and effort is the only path to progress. When you fail, it does not mean your dream is dead. It means you have discovered one way that does not work, and with that knowledge, you are better equipped for the next attempt. Each failure carries a lesson, and those lessons are priceless. They teach you patience when you are eager, humility when you are prideful, and resilience when you feel fragile. Failure forces you to grow in ways that comfort never could. Without failure, success would be shallow, untested, and fleeting. With failure, success becomes meaningful, deeply rooted, and sustainable. Consider the stories of inventors, creators, and leaders throughout history. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. Walt Disney was fired from a job for lacking creativity before he built one of the most imaginative empires in the world. Oprah Winfrey faced rejection and humiliation early in her career, only to rise as one of the most influential voices of her time. These individuals are not remembered for their failures, but for their refusal to let those failures define them. They did not see failure as an end. They saw it as feedback, as training, as a stepping stone on the path to their vision. Failure also reveals who truly wants the dream and who only wants the idea of it. Anyone can pursue a goal when the road is smooth, but the true test of desire comes when you stumble. If failure makes you quit, then the dream was never strong enough inside you. But if failure makes you more determined, if it lights a fire inside you to rise stronger, then you are walking the true path of growth. The vision you hold in your heart will always demand perseverance, and failure is life's way of asking, how badly do you want this? Only those who persist through failure ever discover how close they really are to success. Another important truth about failure is that it destroys illusions. Many people begin chasing a dream believing it will come quickly and easily. Failure shatters that illusion, but in doing so, it forces you to face reality with clearer eyes. It forces you to build a stronger plan, to develop deeper skills, and to rely on discipline instead of hope alone. In this way, failure is not your enemy, it is your teacher. It strips away arrogance, laziness, and false expectations, leaving behind a version of you that is more prepared for success than before. Failure also has a way of building empathy and character. Those who have fallen know the pain of defeat, and when they rise again, they carry within them a compassion for others who struggle. They understand the fight, the disappointment, the tears. This makes their success more inspiring, because it is not born out of ease, but out of shared human struggle. The people who move hearts are not those who never failed, but those who failed deeply and yet found the courage to stand again. Their stories remind us that if they could rise, so can we. It is vital to shift your perspective about failure. Instead of seeing it as evidence of weakness, see it as evidence of effort. The only true failure is never trying at all. Each attempt, even the ones that do not work, moves you forward. They give you experience, clarity, and strength. Every failure is a rung on the ladder, and the only way to reach the top is to climb them one by one. If you skip the failures, you skip the growth. If you avoid the failures, you avoid the lessons. And without those lessons, even if success comes, you may not be ready to hold it. When you understand this, failure becomes less frightening. You begin to embrace it as part of the journey, rather than something to avoid. You take risks. You step out of your comfort zone. You try again and again, because you know that each misstep is not wasted time, but an investment in your growth. Failure becomes the compass pointing you closer to your vision, showing you what works and what does not, shaping your path until you find the way. The most powerful victories are not those that came easily, but those that were forged through repeated failures. Each time you fail, you are building resilience. Each time you rise again, you are proving to yourself that nothing can stop you. Eventually, success becomes inevitable for the one who refuses to give up. It is not about avoiding failure. It is about outlasting it, outgrowing it, and using it as a stepping stone toward your vision. So when failure comes, and it will, do not run from it, do not fear it, and do not let it define you. Instead, embrace it, learn from it, and rise because of it. Know that failure is not the end of your story. It is the part that makes the ending worth reading. It is the weight that makes you stronger, the teacher that makes you wiser, and the fire that makes you unstoppable. Failure is not a finish line. It is a milestone. Every time you stumble, you are still moving forward, still building, still becoming. Failure is not the end. It is the stepping stone that moves you closer to your vision. When you accept that truth, nothing can hold you back. Not rejection, not mistakes, not setbacks. Every fall becomes an opportunity. Every mistake becomes a lesson. And every failure becomes a seed of greatness. Keep walking, keep rising, keep building. And soon the vision that once felt far away will stand before you as the reality you created, because you had the courage to turn failure into your path forward. The greatest barrier is often not outside of us, but inside, the voice of self-doubt that must be silenced with action. We often imagine that the biggest obstacles to our dreams are external: lack of money, lack of opportunity, lack of connections, or lack of resources. While these challenges are real, the truth is that the most powerful barrier is the quiet whisper in our own minds telling us we are not enough, that we are not capable, that we do not deserve success. This voice of self-doubt can paralyze even the most talented, stopping them from taking the first step, holding them back from giving their best, and convincing them to settle for less than what they are capable of achieving. Self-doubt is deceptive because it comes from within. When the world doubts you, you can use their skepticism as fuel, but when you doubt yourself, it becomes harder to fight. That inner voice knows your fears, your insecurities, and your weaknesses, and it uses them against you. It tells you that you will fail before you even try, that others are better, that your dream is too big, that you should not even attempt it. The tragedy is not that the doubt exists. The tragedy is that so many people believe it. They let that voice decide their future, never realizing that the doubt is not truth. It is fear disguised as reason. The only way to silence that voice is through action. You cannot think your way out of self-doubt, because thinking is where doubt thrives. Doubt grows stronger the longer you hesitate, the more you overanalyze, and the more you wait for perfect conditions. But when you act, when you take a step forward despite the fear, doubt begins to lose its grip. Action builds evidence, and evidence builds belief. The more you do, the more proof you create that you are capable. Over time, the voice of self-doubt grows quieter, drowned out by the louder voice of experience and progress. It is important to understand that everyone, even the most successful people, experiences self-doubt. Confidence is not the absence of fear or insecurity, it is the decision to keep moving despite them. The difference between those who achieve and those who don't is not that the achievers never felt doubt. It is that they refused to let doubt make their decisions. They acted anyway. They chose to let their actions speak louder than their fears. That choice, repeated day after day, is what built their confidence. Self-doubt often disguises itself as protection. It tries to convince you that it is keeping you safe, that it is better not to risk failure or rejection. But what it is really doing is keeping you small, keeping you trapped in the comfort zone, keeping you from discovering the power you hold. Every dream requires stepping into the unknown, and self-doubt hates uncertainty. But the unknown is also where growth happens, where opportunities are found, where breakthroughs occur. If you listen to doubt, you stay where you are. If you silence it with action, you move closer to where you want to be. The first step is always the hardest, because that is where doubt is loudest. It screams at you before you begin, trying to stop you from even starting. But once you take that step, once you prove to yourself that you can move forward, the voice begins to weaken. Each action you take after that becomes easier, because you now carry the memory of having already acted once before. Momentum begins to build, and momentum is the enemy of self-doubt. The more you act, the harder it becomes for doubt to stop you, because you have already built evidence of your ability to keep going. The battle against self-doubt is not about silencing it forever. That voice may always whisper in the background, but the goal is to become stronger than it, to act in spite of it, and to prove it wrong through your persistence. Every time you act in defiance of doubt, you reclaim power over your mind. You remind yourself that fear is not fact, that hesitation is not destiny, and that you have the ability to choose action over paralysis. Over time, this creates an identity shift. You stop seeing yourself as someone who doubts and start seeing yourself as someone who acts. One of the most powerful truths is that courage is not built in thought. It is built in action. You cannot wait to feel ready before you begin, because readiness rarely comes. Confidence does not appear magically. It is built brick by brick through consistent action. The people who inspire us most are not those who were fearless, but those who felt the same fears and doubts we feel and acted anyway. That is what makes their journeys so relatable and so powerful. They teach us that the way forward is not to wait until doubt disappears, but to move forward until doubt has no choice but to fade. Self-doubt will always try to make you underestimate yourself. It will highlight your flaws and magnify your mistakes. But it will never show you your true potential, because potential is only revealed in motion. Until you act, you will never know how strong you are, how creative you are, how capable you are. That is why the greatest barrier is not the world outside, but the battle inside your own mind. Win that battle through action, and no external barrier can ever stop you. So whenever that voice of self-doubt rises, do not argue with it, do not wait for it to vanish. Act. Take the step, make the move, do the work. Every time you act, you weaken the voice. Every time you persist, you prove it wrong. Eventually, the voice that once held you back becomes nothing more than background noise, drowned out by the sound of your own determination. Remember that your dreams are not destroyed by rejection or failure nearly as often as they are destroyed by hesitation and doubt. Do not let the voice inside be the reason you give up on the life you deserve. Silence it with action and watch as your courage grows, your belief strengthens, and your dream begins to take shape. Dreams are not just for you. When you build them, they become the light that inspires others to chase theirs. It is easy to believe that your dream is a personal pursuit, something that belongs only to you, something that affects only your own future. But the truth is far greater. Every dream you chase, every barrier you break, every victory you earn has a ripple effect that reaches far beyond your own life. Your actions create examples, your persistence creates hope, and your achievements create belief in the hearts of others who may be struggling to believe in themselves. Dreams are never selfish. They are seeds that grow into trees under which countless others can find shade. When you dare to pursue a dream, you give permission to those around you to do the same. There are people in your life, friends, family, co-workers, even strangers, who are watching you, silently wondering if chasing a dream is worth it. They may be holding dreams of their own, but are too afraid to start, too weighed down by doubt, too blinded by obstacles. When they see you moving forward despite difficulties, when they see you refuse to quit, something inside them awakens. They begin to wonder, if they can do it, maybe I can too. Your courage becomes their courage. Your faith becomes their spark. Your story becomes their inspiration. The beauty of building a dream is that it goes beyond the personal victory. It creates impact. Think about the inventions that have transformed lives, the art that has moved souls, the businesses that have created opportunities, the leaders who have sparked change. None of those dreams remained personal. They started in the heart of one person, but expanded outward, touching communities, nations, even the world. That is the true power of a dream. Once it is built, it can never belong to just one person again. It becomes a light that others can see, a light that guides them through their own darkness. Your struggles, too, are part of this light. Many people believe that only the victories inspire, but the truth is that the journey inspires even more. When others see you fight through failures, endure setbacks, and keep standing after defeats, they see what resilience looks like in action. They see proof that dreams are not achieved by perfect people, but by persistent people. This makes your story relatable, human, and powerful. Someone who feels like giving up may decide to keep going simply because your example reminded them that failure is not the end. This is why it is so important not to hide your journey. Too often, people wait until they succeed to share their story, but the truth is that the world needs to see the struggle as much as the success. It is in your honesty, your vulnerability, and your persistence that people see themselves. They may not relate to your victories at first, but they will always relate to your challenges. And when they see that you can rise, they begin to believe that they can too. Building a dream also creates opportunities for others. When you succeed, you do not just change your own life. You create jobs, inspire creativity, open doors, and plant seeds of possibility in others. The athlete who trains relentlessly inspires the next generation of kids to believe they can achieve greatness. The artist who shares their work sparks creativity in someone who has been afraid to pick up a brush or pen. The entrepreneur who builds a business gives others hope that their ideas can come to life. The teacher who pursues excellence ignites the passion of their students. In every field, in every dream, the influence always extends beyond the dreamer. And it is not always about large-scale influence. Sometimes the dream you chase inspires someone you may never know. A stranger might see you working hard, hear your story, or read your words and feel courage they had been missing. You may never realize the impact you've had, but your persistence might be the reason someone else decided to try one more time, to believe in themselves for just one more day. That is the hidden beauty of chasing a dream. You will never know how far your light has reached, but it will always reach further than you imagine. Dreams also create legacy. Long after your time, the impact of your dream can continue to inspire. Think about the books, inventions, movements, and acts of courage that still influence us today. The people behind them may be gone, but their dreams live on lighting paths for generations that came after. Your dream carries the same potential. The effort you make today could echo in lives you will never meet, in futures you will never see. That is the power of building something bigger than yourself. This understanding also gives you a deeper reason to keep going. When you realize your dream is not just for you, quitting becomes harder. You begin to see that giving up is not only robbing yourself, but robbing others who might have been moved by your example. Your pursuit is not selfish. It is service. By chasing what lights your soul on fire, you light the way for others lost in darkness. By daring to rise, you give others permission to rise too. By refusing to quit, you show others that persistence is possible. So when the road feels long, when obstacles seem overwhelming, when you feel like giving up, remember this truth: your dream matters not just to you, but to countless others who will be touched by it. The strength you show today could be the reason someone else finds their own tomorrow. The dream you build could become the light that guides others out of their own shadows. This is why dreams are sacred. They are bigger than one person. They are seeds of change planted in the world through action, sacrifice, and persistence. Dreams are not just for you. They are for the people who will walk a little taller, believe a little stronger, and fight a little harder because of what you chose to build. They are for the ones who will find hope in your story, courage in your struggle, and inspiration in your victory. When you build your dream, you become more than a dreamer. You become a light in a world that desperately needs it. And that light will burn long after your own journey ends, guiding others toward the greatness they hold within.